What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Hybrid Network. I'm Luke, bringing you my review for the most recent Stephen King film adaptation, The Dark Tower, and, well, it ain't pretty. Just to clarify, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to be revealing any major plot details from the film. I'm just going to be giving a general idea of the film's plot, and I'll go over my thoughts from there. So, with that out of the way, let's break this open. So, it's not very good. I mean, it's a big shock, right? Who would have suspected that a movie that Sony barely put any marketing into would be this bad? Okay, so look, maybe the film's not quite that bad. I think it's getting a worse rep with critics than it really deserves, but I guess I also can't really blame them for being so harsh. I mean, this is an adaptation of what many consider to be Stephen King's magnum opus, and for it to be as lackluster as it is just seems insulting. I mean, I'm no expert on the book series by any means, I'm working my way through the third one, but I can imagine that longtime fans of the series are going to be quite upset with this film. Okay, so what's it even about? Well, it follows a familiar path with the book series, but it adds a different perspective on events. You see, Jake Chambers is a young boy in New York City who keeps having vivid nightmares about a man in black, a tower, and a gunslinger. Seen as mentally disturbed by his many peers, his mother and stepfather try to find him help with a corporation that specializes in aiding children with severe mental trauma. However, this turns out to be a front by the man in black and his lackeys, prompting Jake to travel to Midworld through a portal he finds in an abandoned house, where he meets Roland Deschain. The two team up to find the man in black and prevent his plan of toppling the Dark Tower, the lone structure that keeps the outer darkness from breaching the many worlds and causing untold destruction and chaos. Okay, so now that we have the main idea out of the way, let's get to why I don't think this adaptation works very well. Look, based on what I've read of the series, The Dark Tower is special in how it combines numerous different genres to tell some kind of grand epic, from fantasy to sci-fi to westerns and everything in between. It's a genre-bending epic, so I think one of the worst aspects of this new film is that it really doesn't even try to pull any of that for the movie. Sure, there's elements here and there. There's highly advanced technology used by the sorcerer Walter, played by Matthew McConaughey, and his band of Tahitian soldiers, and there's Midworld's desert-like landscape, but the movie never takes the time to build interest in this world that we're exploring. It never really delves into the dynamics between characters. I think more than anything, the film just lacks the initiative to do anything interesting with the mythology of the Dark Tower. Instead, it opts more so for just lazy references and most likely expecting fans of the books to be satisfied with knowing what else lies within. In fact, we barely even see Midworld. It appears for what feels like a half hour at max, and there's nothing there that really seems to separate it from our world or make it feel distinctively different. There's just less people, and they live in a desert, and they have 10 houses. It's almost shameful how little of an effort there seems to be at introducing an entirely new reality to audiences. It never dives into any of the characters that inhabit this world or any of the lore surrounding it. It's just there for these two characters to meet so that they can go right back to boring old New York, taking away the chance at creating a new experience and bringing a new world to the general public. Instead, the movie opts to just have it all take place within New York, trading in a vast desert landscape for gray concrete walls. Even character-wise, the film is severely lacking, with the intriguing dynamics and traits that certain individuals showcase in the books being traded out for cliches and predictable writing. Roland and Walter's blood feud is far less interesting here than it ever could be in the book, taking their long blood feud and reducing it to a typical story of revenge for the death of a parent. And the budding relationship between Roland and Jake feels completely unnatural and forced. It ends in a relationship that just doesn't feel earned at all. Acting-wise, it's passable. I mean, Idris Elba does what he does best, being gruff and being cool, while Matthew McConaughey's charismatic charm is probably the one thing that saves the lack of any interesting dynamics in the movie. I maintain he's a good pick for the man in black. He embodies someone that loves being evil for the hell of it, and I wish that this was a better movie so that he could have shined even more. But I mean, overall, while I don't think it's the disaster that a lot of critics are claiming it to be, I do think it's incredibly lazy and generic. It just pales in comparison to the actual book's imagination and creativity with its world. I can only assume that those that have grown and read the entire saga would be incredibly upset with this film, and they have every right to be, because in all honesty, they deserve much, much better than this. Now, normally I'm not a big fan of numbered scores, but I mean, if I have to give it something, The Dark Tower gets a 5 out of 10. It's boring, it's predictable, and it's just a pale imitation of a classic book series. If you want to experience this for yourself, take it from someone who's making their way through it, just read the books. Thanks for watching, guys. If you saw the movie, let me know what you thought of the film, and stick with the Hybrid Network for more discussions on The Dark Tower and the many works of Stephen King. This is Luke signing out.